Hello, YouTube family and friends. CP59 Fit here, coming to you tonight from Branson, Missouri. I am in a rental kind of timeshare condo thing. It's very nice. It's nicer than I'm used to. I got the biggest one here at this resort, which isn't a whole lot of a resort, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Tonight I'm going to talk about the challenges I've had with the carnivore way of eating, being on the road for 2 days and then being out of town for a while. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the new subscribers. You should see a little icon on one corner of this screen that says has my photography company logo on it. If you'll click on that, that'll take you to the subscribe area if you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to. You might want to wait till you get to the end to know if you want to or you don't. But I want to go over a couple of doctor's visits I've had since I left home last Thursday. Tonight is Tuesday night, I do believe, April the 20th. I left Fort Worth about noon on Thursday, April the 15th, and I had a doctor's appointment with Dr. Mabry in Sherman, Texas at 2 o'clock on Thursday, April 15th. That all went very well. Of course, if you follow me on either Facebook or Instagram at CP59Fit, you'll already know a few of these details. I didn't go into a lot of details because I was on the road. It's about a 500-mile drive from Fort Worth to Branson, no matter which way you go. I came up through Ohio because I had the doctor's appointment. I'm sorry, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Ohio's not connected to Texas last I checked. But because I was like a half an hour from the Oklahoma border, and I had an ulterior motive. I will turn 56 at the end of this month, and probably for the last 30 years I have had all-you-can-eat crab legs as a birthday celebration. Of course, because of the virus last year, and that's ongoing, all-you-can-eat crab legs have basically become an endangered species. They have gotten so expensive to buy that restaurants can't make any money on an all-you-can-eat deal because they have to charge so much nobody would pay for it. But I did find one casino almost into Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's about 2 or 3 miles, I guess that would be west of the Arkansas border, in a little town called Pensacola, Oklahoma, that had canceled their buffet but was doing table service of all-you-can-eat crab legs. So in order to continue the tradition, and since any kind of seafood is on the carnivore way of eating, which I've been participating in for now a year, I decided I would go to Dr. Sherman, who was about an hour and a half up, and then go to Pensacola/Fort Smith, which is about another 3.5 hours from the doctor's office. Dr. Mabry couldn't find anything wrong with me, which is good, because that's why I went to him almost a year ago. I think I wasn't able to get in until about October, so this is our third visit. The best news of all was when they weighed me, and I was down 15.3 pounds from my visit in January. So that's averaging about 5 pounds a month, which is a little bit faster than recommended. Well, maybe not. I think maybe 6 pounds a month. I guess it's 1.5 pounds a week. I was thinking 1.5 pounds a month. But about 1.5 pounds a week is a good, healthy weight loss. So I'm not quite up to that. You count 4 to 5 weeks per month. You get 6 to 7.5 pounds, and I'm averaging a 5.1. I'm happy with that. I'm still moving towards my goal by eating things like crab legs, ribeye steak, hamburger, 73% fat hamburger, or 73% lean, however they rate it, but I guess 73% lean, 27% fat. But I have to say, the visit with Dr. Mabry was very enlightening, and I'll go over some of the things he said, little pointers in another video, because I don't want this one to go too long. The crab legs in Pensacola were a huge disappointment. The shells were too soft to crack, and when I asked the server if the cook was new or didn't know how to cook them, or if they were just bad crab legs. She said, "Oh no, the cook is very knowledgeable, but they're last year's crab legs, and in the thawing out and maybe I guess because they were closed because of the lockdowns, they weren't able to sell their stock last year, so they just put it on sale this year. But they were absolutely the worst crab legs I've ever eaten. So I am not going back that way, but I have found a place here in town. Stopped by there today. I had heard they'd put them back on their buffet, and the guy told me absolutely not. He said in the last 10 days they've gone up $3 a pound. We couldn't afford to put them on a buffet, but we are selling them for $18 a pound as a side item, and that they had actually gotten a high quality shipment, that they were very happy with the quality of what they were getting in. So I have a friend arriving very shortly before my birthday next week, and we may end up going there for dinner the night of my birthday and having some crab legs. I'll wait and see what she wants to do. But having bad ones in your first celebration just gives you an excuse to have them somewhere else. And since you dip them in that butter, they're a good way to get fat down, even though they're relatively lean themselves. I spent the night at an Airbnb in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It was kind of like a garage apartment, maybe. It was separate from the house, even though attached, had its own bathroom. Didn't have any cooking or freezer space. It had one of those dorm refrigerators and a microwave and a coffee machine. The hosts were just absolutely wonderful, even though I never actually met them. We did text back and forth. But I had put frozen sausage, frozen ribeye, and some cooked ham in a cooler. I didn't have anywhere to put it to keep it frozen overnight, and there isn't an ice machine at an Airbnb, and I didn't want to go in their house and ask them for ice because of the pandemic. So by the time I got to Branson, or got to my unit here that I'm in now with a freezer on Saturday, everything had thawed out, so I ate the ribeye right away. But let's see, I went through Eureka Springs, Arkansas the next day, and I thought, well, I have cheese cubes and snacking Gouda cheese. It's spelled Gouda, but when I was in Holland, I learned they have a hard cheese, so that's Gouda to them, and they're the ones that make it. So I get both of those cubes and the snacking sticks from Aldi, which is now getting very popular everywhere. And I thought, well, that'll be enough. But by the time 2 o'clock was rolling around in Eureka Springs, I was actually getting hungry for one of the first times on this new adventure of eating the keto/carnivore way of life. I don't do vegetables much, just very minimal. Like I think I had coleslaw I had coleslaw in Eureka Springs, and I ordered a bunless hamburger patty with some bacon and cheese on top. I pulled into a kind of a diner, saw something sweet and sassy or something, so they made cakes or something, but they also served hamburger and Impossible burgers and tofu burgers and all that nonsense that you get in these kind of modern, eclectic towns. So I looked over the menu, and the best thing I could do was a hamburger patty with cheese, bacon, and mayonnaise. I think they brought some onions also. And one of the sides was coleslaw, so cabbage is okay. I don't eat it real often, but in a pinch it'll do. That got me through till I got up to Branson that night. And I went through Eureka Springs to check out a retreat center. Unfortunately, it's for sale, so there's really not a way to plan to use it in the future, but it was a beautiful area. I ended up coming out and getting on a dirt road for like 3 miles before I got back on the blacktop. Couldn't figure out how to tell the GPS. I didn't want to go down dirt roads, so I just went with it in my Toyota Camry Hybrid. I made it. And fortunately, I didn't lose cell service on that part of the trip. I had lost it a lot during the Oklahoma portion. But I got into Branson, and I had to rent another Airbnb, which ended up being a hotel room, which also didn't have a freezer. I did put all the food in the refrigerator that day, the little dorm refrigerator. That's when I realized it had all thawed out already. So then I stayed there, and the hotel offered breakfast in the morning, and they advertised sausage patties, sausage gravy, but no eggs. So I thought, well, maybe they'll have eggs, so I'll go down there. No eggs. Why would you have a sausage patties and not have eggs? I mean, most hotels I've stayed at that had a hot breakfast item at least had hard-boiled eggs available, or maybe scrambled eggs with sausage patties, which sausage patties, that type of sausage patty really isn't my favorite, but I did eat about 4. And that's kind of where the carb creep began, because I opened up a biscuit. I took half and I put some of the sausage gravy on it. Well, it's probably not sausage gravy, even that's what they call it. It's probably just the black pepper gravy. But my blood numbers didn't really change. I didn't eat a lot of carbs, definitely not 30. But that was the start of a carb creep, even though I had been in ketosis most of the trip, because I was kind of eating my belly the whole trip. Then I was in Branson then. I had to check out of that hotel by 11. My condo wasn't supposed to be ready until like 4. So about 12, I get over to the condo and they say, well, we could probably have it ready in an hour. It's already been cleaned, but we need to inspect it. I said, well, how about this? I'll go to Aldi's and Walmart or wherever I'm going to go and get some groceries. And then I'll come back in an hour and we'll see what's ready then. And they said that was fine. And when I got back, I did go to Aldi's and the Dollar Tree, I think. And they built a brand new Aldi's here in Branson, and it's very nice. It had what I needed. It didn't have everything I wanted. Of course, the one at home doesn't have the Halawami style cheese sticks anymore, which are just absolutely amazing. And the reason I had to go get stuff was I left the cooler with the refrigerated items in the refrigerator. It was just a small cooler. But I realized that after I left Dr. Mabry's, so I went to the Aldi in front of his office and bought some more cheese to eat on the road, since I left it all at the house. And, some Parmesan crisps that are kind of like a potato chip, but they're just baked cheese, I guess. Then I got here to the unit. Oh, I've got to tell you, it rained almost constantly from Dr. Mabry's to the casino. It stopped a little bit before I got to the casino. And then it caught up with me the next morning after I spent the night in Fort Smith, and I was in it most of the day through Arkansas. And pretty much the whole night, the first night in Branson. That first night I got in, I went to the Grand Country Buffet, and they had roast beef, carved ham, fried chicken, the Polish sausage links with onions in a barbecue sauce, which probably had carbs in it, as the fried chicken did. It had the breading and was fried in the oil that I don't usually eat. But I just want to be honest and address that traveling on this way of eating is not anywhere near as easy as I thought it would be. Yes, you can eat a hamburger patty just about anywhere, but you don't really want to go into every restaurant along the way and eat a hamburger patty or a cheeseburger without the bun. So, of course, on the buffet, it was good. I got lots of meat. They had some ribs, I think, and they had a few other things. I don't remember all, but I got satiated that night. I was satisfied with the fat. They had butter for the roll, so I just put some butter on the ribs or the barbecue or whatever I had on the plate, and it was good. And then I got in the unit, and I cooked the steak the next night. Oh boy, that was good. And then I've been eating ham and eggs since then. I did bring a lot of ham. I cooked the ham the week before, so whatever's left went in the cooler. It was frozen at the time, I think, when I left the house, but it wasn't frozen when I got here. So I'm trying to finish that up, and that's one thing I know Beth has texted me about, and I have the same concerns. If only one person in the household is doing this way of eating, and you get a ham, you got to eat ham forever. Of course, if I was home, I'd put 3/4 of it in the freezer. But like I get here and I buy a 5-pound chub of ground beef, I've got to eat ground beef every night, or I can freeze it and try to take it home, and it'll be thawed out by the time I get there. Or I can cook it and then freeze it. But I'm finding the freezer is a very good friend of yours, but this is getting kind of long, and I am here safe and sound. Today was a heck of a day. The fire alarm in the building went off at 8 a.m., before 8 a.m., like 5 of 8. So by the time I found slippers, the key, a jacket, and got downstairs, it was very cold. False alarm, the commercial dryer in the housekeeping area had sent off some lint or something and set off a smoke alarm, which would set the whole building alarm off. Branson Fire responded very quickly and handled it very efficiently and professionally. And then about 11 o'clock it started snowing. Yes, snow in April. I am in the mountains. It is a higher elevation than I'm used to. And then I went back to the buffet today for lunch. It's a little cheaper at lunch, and I better go to dinner from now on if I go, because the meat quality, they didn't have the roast, they didn't have the ham, they did have fried chicken, they had some sausage with sauerkraut, so that's just cabbage in another form, so I ate some sauerkraut. And they had something else. I got, meatballs and some kind of a brown gravy, which that's not good for you in this context. And the meatball, I think meatloaf too, but of course it had tomato sauce or ketchup on top, and that stuff's all full of sugar. But I did get full again, and then I came home. It was just about getting down to freezing. I said, well, I need to get on back to the unit. I was a little bit tired after the food, so I just took a nap, and by 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight when I woke up, it was sunny again. So I do encourage you to follow me on Facebook or Instagram or both. You can message me at either of those on the CP59 Fit page, just like here, CP59 Fit. And if you would subscribe and hit the like button or even comment down below, tell me what you think it's like to travel on the carnivore way of eating. And I'll get this uploaded as quick as I can. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye-bye.